Good afternoon and welcome to Northport, A View from Here. My name is Gene Matthews and I'll be your host today. Our program today is going to be centered around the South County Resource Center located up near Manatee Community College. And our guests are Kathy Bayless, who is the current Vice President of the Sarasota County Committee for Economic Development. We have Carol Dixon, who is with the Health Department of Sarasota County and runs various departments out there in the South County Resource Center. And Rick Ham. Rick is the President of the South County Resource Center. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
One of the questions and the problems that we in South County face, Northport, Englewood, and Venice, is as we grow, and we all know we're growing at a rapid rate, are we going to have the services we need as we grow to survive and to have a better way of life? And this afternoon we're going to have some answers from these folks, and we're going to start off with Kathy Bayless. Kathy, give us a little history of the Resource Center, why it's there in that location, who started it, how did it start, and who are the partners?
Okay.
It's a big question. But,
it is a big question.
But you're a big person. I know you can handle it.
Thank you. Yeah, we can handle it. I think it was back in 1992, Gene, that there were a group of us who, community leaders down in the South County area, and there were, as a matter of fact, I think you were part of the original group, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And the Compass report had just come out, and if you remember, that was a report that Sarasota County had done about human services in the entire county. And one of the things that it pointed out about our community down in South County was that we really didn't have a coordinated or a really efficient way of delivering human services to the citizens of our community. And so the community leaders met, and we started talking about what can we do in order to solve that. And one of the things, of course, we knew about the Human Service Center that Kay Glasser had been instrumental in up at 17th Street, where she had done a group of human service agencies in one place. And so we wanted to try to model our program after that. Well, I guess it was sort of fate that at the same time, Sharon Wilkin, who was one of those community leaders, she was the executive director of Volunteer Center South at the time, also served on the Sarasota Memorial Hospital Board. And she knew that Sarasota Memorial was looking at property in the Taylor Ranch area down by Manatee Community College in Venice. And so she kind of pitched the idea to Mike Covert about doing some kind of a collaborative project where we would be able to build a facility, the South County Resource Center, on that property. Mike liked the idea, and so it took us actually about 4 years to finally negotiate a deal with Sarasota Memorial. But primarily what we have down there now is it's a 40,000 square foot facility. What our board agreed to do, and we were a group of all volunteers, we agreed to raise $1.5 million in order to go towards the construction of the building.
And that only took 6 months, right?
And that took us, that's why it was a little longer than, actually it took us about 18 months, which wasn't too terribly bad. So we raised the money. Actually, we ended up raising $1.6 million, which gave us some additional funds that we could put into furnishings in the common areas of the building and so forth. Actually, we leased the building and the land from Sarasota Memorial. It's on a 99-year lease, and we just pass on the cost of the lease amount to the agencies that are in the facility. And it's $3.85 a square foot. It's the best deal in town. And the reason it's so low is because the $1.5 million that we raised bought down the lease amount.
That's really super.
Right. And of course that means they can put more of their dollars back into the programs and services they provide to the citizens there.
And what was your role at that time?
I was the president of the South County Resource Center for most of that period of time, through the negotiations and through the construction of the property and so forth. And then I turned it over to the able hands of Rick Ham about a year ago. The facility was completed in about April or May, I guess, of '99, and we started moving the agencies in at that time, and it was a pretty exciting time.
Well, I want to say thank you on behalf of a lot of people that need the facility, and for your generous donation of time and expertise, because that was a lot of work.
Yeah,
and we sure appreciate all that you did.
Well, thank you.
Carol, what are the programs or some of the programs that are there at the South County Center?
We have 3 major programs: Clinical Health Services, Healthy Start, and WIC. Clinical Health Services consist of primary care. We have a physician that sees clients age 0 to 55. We have an agreement with Senior Friendship that they see people over 55, and we work very closely with them on that. We have an OB program where we run a census of about 65 to 70 prenatal pregnant women. We have a full-range family planning program, a dental program. We have an adult immunization program, very active travel program. A lot of the folks go overseas, and we do all the overseas immunizations. We do pregnancy tests, HIV testing, STD testing and treatment, TB, and we have a vaccine for children program where any child under the age of 19 can come in and receive their vaccines free. Our latest addition in clinical health is the specialty clinic, and we're very excited about this. That's a very big need for our clients that hasn't been met up till now. So a partnership was developed between the Senior Friendship Center, Venice Bon Secours Hospital, the Health Department, and Sarasota Memorial. The Venice Foundation very generously awarded us a grant, and we've developed a specialty clinic. It is all volunteer physicians, many of them from Venice Bon Secours Hospital, and some retired physicians. We have something like 35 physicians participating now. We have covered almost every specialty. And the Venice Hospital has also been very generous. We send people there for special diagnostic tests and labs. That's our newest program. We started that in December. It's been very successful, and we're thrilled to be able to offer that service to the community.
Before we go any further, you've got a whole raft of services here, that's obvious, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth with some of them later on. But if someone has a need, what's the phone number? I mean, what do you do? You know, I have a sick child, or we're indigent, and we need to get in touch with you. What's the phone number to call?
The phone number is 492-3800.
Okay.
And there are some eligibility requirements, and we can help people with that.
Okay. With that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a few moments. Thank you.
Have you seen Northport lately? Take a minute and take a look.
We really do enjoy nature, and we found it all here, right in our own backyard. Love fishing and boating on the Mayaca. You never know what you might see out there. We toured the whole state of Florida and found that Northport had everything that we wanted.
There's a lot of natural beauty, and there's a lot of wildlife here. I love the open spaces, and I love the quiet.
If you're intrigued by what you just saw, pay us a visit, and you'll see a lot more.
Welcome back to Northport, a view from here. Today's topic is the South County Resource Center. We're talking with Rick Ham now. Rick is the president of the South County Resource Center. That's quite a mouthful, isn't it, when you say it?
It sure
fast. What's the role of the board of directors and the board for the Resource Center?
Well, now that we've done the greatest part of our job, which Kathy mentioned earlier, was raising the money and getting the building built. We also have another board made up of people from the Resource Center. It's an association board, and there we're more into the management of the Resource Center site. One of the things in having everything under one roof is agencies aren't worried about getting the grass cut and taking care of the outside of the building and making sure everything is running and operating. We do that as a board, plus we have a management company that assists us in those day-to-day operations. leaves more time for them to provide the services that they're doing and less time with worrying about how the facilities are being maintained.
And so that's one of the roles of the board. Do you also go out and seek, how shall I say it, tenants or agencies to come to the board, to come to the center, or is that just a natural phenomena that happens?
Well, we're seeking tenants now, or a tenant now. In essence, when the resource center was built, it was completely filled. But we have 4,000 square feet that's available, and our management company will be actively looking for a tenant, somebody that's helping to serve the needs of the folks in South County.
Okay, we had a brief explanation of the public health department's role at the center. How about other agencies that are independent of the health department? What ones are there?
Well, there's 13, 14 agencies there.
That's aside from the health department, Rick?
Aside from the health department, the United Way of South Sarasota County has their office there, and many people are familiar with United Way, and it actually funds some of the agencies that are there, including agencies that are not, such as the YMCA or Salvation Army or Big Brothers Big Sisters. We also have Jewish Family and Children's Services. We have Easter Seals, which is probably our second largest tenant after the health department. And they operate an excellent daycare center from the site, and Carol might even know since she is the agency right next door, but they filled up quite nicely,
Yes.
Which tells you there's a need, and help-filled need to have proper daycare. And we also have Coastal Recovery Center, Family Counseling Center. We also have Lutheran Services, Catholic Charities. We also have Volunteer Connections. It used to be called Volunteer Center South. And they match up volunteers with other nonprofits in the area. So not only do we have agencies there that are serving the needs of individuals, but there's also other agencies there, such as Volunteer Connections and United Way, that are supporting these agencies with either volunteers or monies.
You know, there's so many agencies there. There's a plethora of facilities and services. I mean, is there a brochure or anything that is available to people? Because we certainly can't cover it all today. Is there a brochure that they can call and request, or where would they get it, the residents?
Well, when we were getting ready to meet here today, that thought came to my mind. We do have a brochure that's made up that lists the agencies that are there, their hours, and a phone number they can be contacted. As far as receiving the brochure, I thought, well, I need to give them a phone number or a contact.
Right.
So they can simply call me. My work number is 488-7737, or they can even write to the Resource Center, and we'll be glad to send them a brochure. And our address is 7810 South Tamiami Trail, Suite 14, Venice 34293. We'd be glad to send a brochure.
Okay, I don't know if they'll all get a chance to write all that down. So repeat your phone number. I'm sure that's where what they're going to do.
Okay, my number is 488-7737.
And it's Rick Ham.
Correct.
Okay, great. Daycares. Carol, that's right next door to you. I know it's not
Right.
part of your service, but how large is it, do you know?
Oh, judging from the children I see on the playground, they must have at least 30 clients or more now. I know that it's on a sliding scale. And we can watch them from our lunchroom, and they have a lot of what looks like very dedicated workers, and the children are outside looking like they're having lots of fun.
Kids have a way of
Many
doing
times
that.
during the day. Pardon?
When kids have a way of doing that
Yes.
when you kind of let them loose. Who runs that?
Easter seals.
Easter Seals. And again, well, of course, you don't know the number of that because that's not under your purview. But for those out in Northport, they need to call the center and make inquiries. Are they full? Do you know? Or?
I'm not sure. They weren't full as of a few months ago. I'm not sure.
Because
if they are
daycare
not.
centers are, one of the biggest needs, especially in today's world where so many are working, two-parent family working.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
had the opportunity to attend the Easter Seals annual dinner the other night.
Oh,
And
great.
so I had a chance to ask how things were going down at the center. And it is not full. They've certainly done very well down there, but I know they are still seeking additional clients and customers. And also, even though Easter Seals sometimes may be strictly associated with children with disabilities, they take children of all ability levels, which I think is also an important thing for folks to know.
And I guess if you need the service and you look in the phone book under Easter Seals, you'll find a number to call.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
And
great.
I've got
may
a
have-
number I
Rick
can
has a
share
number
too.
here.
All
We've
right,
got a
fine.
number handy. It's 492
492.
4716.
Okay.
492 4716.
Great. If you need that help, please call. Carol, back to you. We have a lot of retirees that just not able to get around to avail themselves of your services. How can you help them? Or who can help them?
Most people over 55 that don't have Medicare or other insurances go to Senior Friendship for their physician care. So they meet quite a need in the community, and they do have a bus service. And I don't know their number offhand, but they serve quite a need in this community for people in that age group.
Because a lot of times people are shut in, they're just not aware of what's out in the community for them. And again, I guess the phone book is your best weapon to find out if you at least have a name. So Senior Friendship Centers, if you're shut in and you need care, give them a call, and they'll be able to help. What type of help do you offer the retired folks, the infirmed, at the clinic?
We really don't have any services for that age group. As far as the people who are able to come into us, we have a lot of people that come in to get what we call adult immunizations, the tetanus, pneumonia shots, flu shots, and we have a very active overseas travel immunization program.
Okay, great. And are you going to plan on adding other services in the near future for South County?
We hope to.
Okay, are you going to expand on that?
Well, we're hoping to add a pharmacy at our site within the next 6 months.
And will this pharmacy be at commercial rates, or will it be at reduced rates?
It will be for our clients, basically.
Okay.
But that way, then we'll be able to provide true one-stop shopping for our clients.
So, but now you say there are doctors on at the center.
At the health department,
At the center that people can visit. Is there an age limitation on the doctors, or some kind of limitation or qualifying factors?
At the health department, we see patients under 55. We have that agreement with Senior Friendship to see patients over 55.
Okay. All right, I see the pattern here. It's a division of
Right.
of work and responsibility. So they'll deal with folks 55 and older.
That's right.
And you are 54 and under, and that's from prenatal care right on through
Exactly.
age 54. Okay, that's good. And what do you see in the future, Rick, for expansion?
Well, one of the things that's available simply on the site that we have is we have room to add about 20,000 more square feet, and I'm looking at Kathy too for any correction if I mention wrong, but there is room for expansion. Again, right now, except for those 4,000 square feet that are available, we're full. But we see as the need grows and the area grows that there's going to be need for more
Okay.
facilities.
With that, we're going to have to stop for the moment, and we'll be back soon.
There's a rumor that small-town America has all but disappeared.
Life is great, Northport.
Northport is the last Mohican. This is the place. This is going to be the last undeveloped region. The city government itself is so pro-growth, and it's just like everything is in the right place at the right time for Northport. They're very open-minded, they're very honest, and they're very fair.
Disappeared? You've just seen evidence to the contrary. We call it Northport.
Welcome back to the final segment of Northport, A View from Here. Our topic today is the South County Resource Center. Kathy, the Resource Center, as well as Manatee Community College, seems to be in the middle of nowhere. Could you explain, why it's there and what kind of accessibility is there now and perhaps in the future?
Sure. Yeah, that was a topic of much discussion when we first decided where to locate the center. It's apparent remoteness, but when you really think about it and when you really look at where the center is, it's actually equal distance from Venice, Northport, and Englewood, and those are the communities that we wanted to try to serve with the center. So as our board looked at that and analyzed it back in 92, 93, we thought it made a lot of sense. Also, we all know that Pine Street may someday happen in South Sarasota County. We hope it will.
It's been going on for 16 years.
Yes. And the road, the access road that has been built back to the property would be Pine Street if that were to happen. And so, and of course, we all know that Northport is growing faster than any other segment of the community, and we're very, very close to the Northport area. So we think that we made a good decision in putting it where it is. As far as access, one of the things that we looked at as we were developing the center is having bus service come there. And it was very helpful that the health department was going to be locating there because the county paid close attention to making sure that they were able to serve the clients. And so when we initially opened, we had bus service, I think it was every 2 hours if I'm not mistaken, and now they've increased that to every hour, and they actually built a road between Manatee Community College and Pine Street, so the access road, so that the bus would not have to go back out on 41 and so forth. So we have service every hour to the center now.
So I understand too is that the SCAT system is going to be putting additional routes into Northport, going up the feeder roads, not just along 41. So that would give more access to transportation for those that can't even get down to US 41.
Absolutely.
So that's great. Yeah, I agree. I think it's central. We're all growing kind of towards that point.
Right.
Northport's growing a little bit further south than the other communities around, but I think it's in a central location and good.
And there's a lot happening at the Taylor Ranch property, and certainly we've all seen what's happened at the Jacaranda Boulevard and 41 area. So there's
a lot going on.
It's a high growth area, even though it still may appear remote.
Carol, eligibility requirements for your services over there at the center. What are they, and how does one meet them?
To be eligible for physician or dental services, one must be a resident of Sarasota County. And one may have Medicaid, Medicare, or be screened and be within 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. And actually that's very generous. This is just a very ballpark number because it really depends on how many people in the family are working, because there are credits given for that. But a family of 4 can be making about $2,300 a month and still be eligible to come. And then within that eligibility, people are screened where they're either zero pay, 17%, $3,350 on up, depending on the salaries they have. So if one is a zero pay client, for instance, they see the doctor for free and they get their medication free. So that's a free service. 17%, 33% are very small co-payments.
Okay, but if I needed a vaccination to go to a foreign country, I'd have to pay for that.
You would pay for that,
okay.
Yes.
I just want to get that cleared up. What about residents from Northport? Are we using the facilities? Do you think there's a greater demand than out there than are actually coming into the facility?
Well, we're certainly increasing our Northport clients. When many that come in have talked to us about how nice it is to be able to come to the South County Resource Center, how much closer it is for them. And that client base seems to be growing every day, so we're very happy about that. To be able to serve South County in an equitable...
You don't have a number of people using it?
I don't have a number, exactly.
But it's growing all the time.
It's growing all the time.
Yeah, one of the, as I remember back into the very early 90s, 91, 92, if people in Northport needed service, they had to travel up 17th Street and US 301, or just off US 301, yes, which is in the Newtown area, to give you a reference where it's located. And those that needed the service most were, it was impossible for them to get there. Those that had the car and probably could get by with local service, they could get there. But those that needed it the most couldn't. So this really is a valuable resource in South County.
It is, and we hear that every day from our Northport clients.
Yeah. How about the prenatal program?
We run a census of about 65 to 70 women, a lot of them from Northport. When they come into us, there is intake done by our nurse specialists that lasts 2 to 2.5 hours. They are seen by obstetricians and by our nurse practitioner and followed throughout their pregnancies. They come back to us after for their postnatal care, and most of them bring their newborns and back. We check them, try to see the newborns at 3 or 4 days, again at 2 weeks, again at 2 months. So many of them come back, and their newborns are then seen by our primary care physician.
Is there a lack of service, this kind of service within the South County area that that you're filling that need? Because I don't think some of the hospitals in the general area even deliver babies anymore.
That's true. And a lot of our people tell us that it's hard with Medicaid, and the majority of pregnant women are able to get on Medicaid, at least for the pregnancy, and then for 2 years after for family planning services. They have difficulty sometimes accessing care in the private community.
Yeah, it was shocking. When I was on the school board, some of the statistics of low birth weight babies and cocaine babies and such within Sarasota County, no one really realized what the problem was. And this is what they needed. They need this guidance during that early pregnancy period, especially for the very, very young mothers.
And then we have another program, Healthy Start, and that component is also housed at our health department. These are nurses and social workers that work in the homes with the pregnant women that are at some risk, and then also work with them in the homes up till their children are 3 years old. And they work very closely in conjunction with our prenatal nurse and our other people in the prenatal program to identify those at risk and to help them have successful pregnancies and develop successful parenting skills.
Okay. So to kind of recap, I guess, this year is that if you're over 55, you need to go call Friendship Center.
For physician services.
For physician services.
If you're going to overseas, come and see us, and we'll do the shots.
And if you're 54 and under,
55 and under,
55
yes.
and under, call you all too.
And to see if you qualify in our eligibility standards.
Okay, yes. All right. With that, we'll say thank you very much for watching our program today. And if you need services at the South County Center, please call
492-3800 for the health department.
Okay, 492-3800. Thank you very much.